What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're back to ranking fragrances I have from specific houses. You saw in the title and the thumbnail, we're talking Dolce and Gabbana this time, and I've got 20 fragrances from them. These are the 20 that I own. What? Know this? No, these are the 20 that I own. So happens in every video. It's hilarious because it's like people start the video and they just like look at me talking, but they don't hear words. It's hilarious. So these are the 20 that I have from my least favorite to my favorite, because it's not a real worst in this situation. Like, I don't have a Dolce & Gabbana fragrance that I would consider as just a bad fragrance. But this ranking may surprise some of you. So let's get into it. Stay tuned. And the funniest thing about number 20 is literally yesterday at the recording of this in my live stream, somebody asked me my thoughts on this fragrance because they deem it to be a masterpiece. When I just finished saying this was today's video, and I said, funny enough, that's what's ranked as worst. Dolce & Gabbana Intenso. I literally had a couple of people in my live stream yesterday at the recording of this talking, one in particular called it a masterpiece. And look, that's the thing when it comes to fragrance. It's all subjective. I don't hate the fragrance. I don't think it's a bad fragrance. It's just not my jam. Like, of the 20 I have, it's the one I never reach for. It just doesn't speak to me. Very much in the same vein of Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. It is a little bit richer. I don't get as much of a tobacco note from it, but it's still very much a, standard aromatic, woody aromatic, somewhat aromatic fougere type of profile. Lavender, greens, musk, a little bit of spices. It's just okay to me. But the funny thing is I literally had somebody call it a masterpiece yesterday when I rank it as my worst. But nothing wrong with it. I'm glad I have a 40 ml, so not too much goes to waste. I just kind of have it for point of reference. I have worn it a few times over the years. It just doesn't captivate me. At number 20, Dolce & Gabbana Intenso. Now, the one that I definitely would take over Dolce & Gabbana Intenso at number 19, clearly because it's ranked above it, is Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. Now, there was a time I really got down with this. In a professional setting, this is arguably one of the better fragrances a man can wear. I do get that dry leafy tobacco smell here. A lot of lavender, very much barbershop style fragrance without being loaded with spices. Doesn't have too much of an aftershave smell, but all of those elements are indeed present here. I know most people will say, oh, the vintage formulas though. And yeah, the vintage formulas with the sticker instead of the print on here. Yeah, they wear that jam, but I don't think this is as watered down as people make it out to be. I get like 6 or 7 hours in longevity. It still smells great. Yes, it's not as rich of a smell as it used to be, but it's still a really good fragrance. It pains me to have to put it ranked so low, but reality is I like the other ones I have better. At 19, Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. Now, I'm still trying to come around to this one because it's a new release. I got it right before it started warming up. I really haven't spent enough time with it, but I do appreciate how different it is. But as fall rolls around into winter, it'll make more sense to wear because it is not warm weather friendly. It's Dolce & Gabbana K Intense. K Eau de Parfum Intense, technically. Very rich leather, like crazy fig smell, like very bitter fig. And like I said, rich, like vegetal type of leather. It does dry down beautifully, I gotta say. The opening can be a bit much, though. I could see where some people won't like this one. It's definitely much more interesting than the previous two versions. The previous two versions are very easygoing fragrances overall. They're, juniper aromatics with geranium and musk and stuff like that. They're nothing crazy. Whereas this is a little bit crazier of a profile. I do appreciate the uniqueness to it, but it's one I admittedly haven't spent enough time with to really pass enough judgment on it, because had I worn this 5 or 6 times, it could potentially be ranked higher. It could be ranked last. I don't know. Where it stands right now, this is kind of where I feel about it at 18. I think it's a good slot considering I've only given it 2 sprays, maybe 3, since I got it, because the timing for the seasons was just terrible. Sometimes these fragrances come out in the complete wrong season to wear them, and that's kind of what happened here, at least for when I got it, because I didn't get it the moment it dropped. I got it not too long after, and it was already like middle of spring, beginning of spring, middle of spring over here on the Gulf Coast, which was already 90 degrees. and high humidity. So it's just too much for this, but in the fall, I'll be able to assess it better. Dolce and Gabbana K EDP Intense. Now at 17, I feel like it's just crazy redundant. I have 2 bottles of this fragrance is what it amounts to. It smells exactly, to me anyways, exactly like La Nuit de l'Homme Eau de Parfum. It's Dolce and Gabbana, the One Eau de Parfum Intense. And gorgeous piano-like finish to this bottle. And it smells really good. It's a lot of cardamom leather. Doesn't smell a ton like Dolce & Gabbana the One. A little bit of the DNA is there, that ambery tobacco kind of smell. And it is really nice. It just smells eerily similar to La Nuit de l'Homme Eau de Parfum. And I guess call it a brand bias, because I prefer, overall as a house, I'm more of a YSL guy. Most notably because my wife loves the YSL men's fragrances that I have. She loves when I wear those. So I kind of gravitate naturally, because all my YSL stuff's right. I gravitate to YSL a bit more than Dolce & Gabbana, unless I'm in the mood for light blue, which we got a lot of light blue flankers in here, as you'll see in a little bit. So I actually never reached for this one. I couldn't tell you the last time I wore it. I have worn it in the past. It's a good profile. It's just super redundant to a YSL fragrance I have, a La Nuit de l'Homme flanker, specifically the Eau de Parfum. So I just reached for that when I want the profile. So I guess I kind of need to make myself wear it, because it's pretty much the same fragrance. Performance is really good. It is actually a really good fragrance. It's just, like I said, it's more of a brand bias kind of thing, where in the household YSL is more of a hit. So since they're so redundant to one another, I typically just wear the YSL. But it's not a bad fragrance. It's Dolce & Gabbana, the One Eau de Parfum Intense. Now, I've always had a soft spot for this fragrance. It smells like the original, just fresher. Great for an office setting. Dolce & Gabbana, the One Gray. When I worked at Mercedes was when I used to wear this one. At least that's where the dent came from in it. There's a little bit more citrus going on here, but it still has that sweet ambery tobacco smell. Just a bit more wearable, a bit fresher. Works in warmer weather all the more versus the original. This is such a slept-on fragrance. I haven't worn it in quite some time myself. Shame on me, because I do quite like it. I think it is a pretty good fragrance. Average performance. Nothing special here, 5-6 hour range kind of stuff. But again, professional settings, if you're a fan of the DNA, let's say Dolce & Gabbana the One's one of your favorite date night fragrances or evening fragrances of all time, you can transition this fragrance right into your work life, because it suits the office settings really, really well. Dolce & Gabbana the One Gray. Such an interesting situation with this particular fragrance, because we got locked down right around the same time it came out, so it pretty much went straight to rack stores. I remember standing in line because so many people could go in the rack store with a mask on and all the stupid shit we went through in 2020. So, with that, Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, Love is Love. I bought this for $40 as a brand new release. The month it released for $40 from Ross Dress for Less when I lived in Texas. This is such a slept-on flanker. It does smell like the original, and it's got this apple gelato kind of smell. It's got almost this warm apple pie meets ice cream kind of thing going. I know that sounds weird. Warm apple pie and ice cream blending together. How's that work? I get it, but if you smell it, you could probably understand where I'm coming from a bit better. It's actually it's a really good flanker. I don't know what else to say besides it's a really good flanker. It never really got the love I feel it deserves. I haven't wore it in quite a while. Probably been at least a year since the last time I sprayed this one. I do gravitate to it once in a while. I just have too many fragrances. But it does smell really good. This is one I would encourage you checking out if you can find a bottle for a decent price online. I'll try to have these linked down below as best I can. But yeah, I'll never forget how, when, and why, because the world was in a very weird place when this came out. But yeah, this is kind of my commemorative fragrance for lockdown, if you will. Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, Love is Love. Moving into 14, I bought this last summer when I moved here in Florida, and I actually haven't worn it this summer yet. Very much summer specific because it's just so fresh. It's a citron heavy, fresher take on the original. It literally smells like the original. Love the bottle too. This like foggy, translucent sky blue. It's a beautiful bottle, but it smells so good. Actually, I'm gonna wear this one to the gym this morning. Super citron fresh. Doesn't have as much spice, that peppered spice of the original. Super, super juicy, watery, fresh, airy, very ozonic and bright. Like a 4 to 5 hour fragrance at best, because it is so immensely fresh. We're talking freshness as far as like flankers I would compare it to with the way they perform, and the freshness to the original's DNA is like any of you that are familiar with Polo Ultra Blue. How that's just immensely fresh, still ties to the DNA, but kind of has some reworked notes going for it. It's kind of how this flanker is. It's very much like the original, just fresher with a few reworked notes. Is it a must-have? No, but it is fun to collect the light blue flankers. I have to say there's still, a handful that I don't have, but man, it's probably the best looking bottle of the bunch. Dolce and Gabbana Light Blue, Beauty of Capri. This next one, I'll never understand why it got the kind of flack and hate, and just nobody cared for it when it came out. And I always thought from the start it was pretty good. Came out in 2019. I've always liked it. Dolce & Gabbana K Eau de Toilette. I don't wear it all that often. Dropped the bottle before and cracked 2 of the prongs on the crown off, but I like it. It's juniper heavy. It's very gin aromatic. The geranium offers a little bit of sweetness. It's a little powdery. Very fresh, inviting. I think it's an attractive scent personally. I think you can wear this for just about anything. It's one of those powdery fragrances that works in the heat. I never understood why this got so much hate, didn't get any love. Decent performer too, kind of falls in that 6 to 8 hour range in longevity on me. I like this. I've always liked this. I used to have a 10 ml decant. That's why it took me so long to get a bottle, and grabbed a 50 ml a while back for a decent price. Dropped the juice level just a little bit. I do like it. Hell, it's ranked just about in the middle of the pack, almost in the middle of the pack. I think more people should try it. The K line, I think, gets an unfair shake. A K EDP Intense that we talked about already, sure, it's different. That's going to be very much an acquired taste, but the EDT, the original, I still think it's a good fragrance. I'll never understand why it didn't get love. It still doesn't get love, but I got love for it. Dolce & Gabbana K EDT. Now here's one that definitely gets love, and I'm convinced it's still in production because this is the first year in a long time we didn't get a light blue summer flanker. I'm kind of surprised. So last year's Summer Vibes, still rolling. People are still getting bottles for a very well discounted price. I'm not sure if it's currently in stock. It was in stock. Should be in stock in the link below. And you can get them pretty cheap, actually. It's straight up cheapy. 75 mLs like this? Absolutely. I believe it's a 75 ml. It is. And it's good stuff. Citrus, a little green. It smells like the original. Just honestly, it lacks the spice of the original. I don't get the smokiness of the original. But the way the citrus, the greens, and the woods and everything come across, it definitely ties to the DNA. It is a solid fragrance. This is a pretty good one. I don't think it's the best one. Obviously, there's other ones that are ranked above it as far as the light blue flankers, but this was a really good foot forward. This is a great offering from them. Performance is well above average. This is another one, 6 to 8 hours on my skin in longevity, and it's pretty loud for a while. It's just a great, easy reach, dumb reach, wear when you don't need to think about what you want to wear. It's that kind of fragrance. It's good stuff. It's light blue summer vibes. Now, being ranked at 11 might chap a few asses, because everybody gets sensitive when something's their favorite, and it's not my favorite, and they're like, how could you? That's number one. Hey, man, I think it's really good to the middle of the pack, but it's not my favorite version of light blue. Light blue forever. This was a hype beast. This is the most hype, quick hands. This is the most hyped light blue flanker I've seen in years. Italian Love didn't get near the hype that came out the next year. Summer Vibes didn't get near the hype that came out the next year. Hell, Light Blue Sun, any of the other ones that came out in previous years, Love is Love, they didn't get this kind of hype. Something about the way this grapefruit comes across that just do it for people. And it is indeed a nice, sharp, kind of rindy grapefruit. It is really good, but I mean, not to the point to where I ever thought it was like the best one they've ever done. And a lot of people feel that way, and I ain't hating on you for it. So don't hate on me for not feeling the same way you feel. Capiche? All right. It does smell really good. Not going to knock this fragrance at all. It is really good. I do prefer Italian Love to it, because Italian Love, the following flanker, smells like this with some added patchouli, like a heavier aquatic note, a little bit more bergamot, and some intensified patchouli. I feel like they made a more complex take on this particular fragrance. A lot of redundancy to them, but I feel like that one's better. Obviously, we haven't gotten to it yet. It is ranked higher. And if you can find this one for a good price and you love grapefruit forward fragrances, this is a lot of people's favorite grapefruit. Light blue forever. Now, admittedly, I haven't wore this in quite some time. I believe this is number 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 indeed. This is Dolce and Gabbana, the One Luminous Night. So the only one I don't have in this line is Royal Night. I still need to get that one. I've been contemplating forever. So this, the most simple way I can put it, is smoky dates. Beautiful date smell, like rich in that fruity dates accord. And as it dries, you get a lot of incense. There's some woods, there's a touch of spices, but that's the main things here, is dates and incense. It is really good. Yes, there's a Fragrance World clone out there that's pretty close, but the quality's better here. The blend is a little bit better here. If you can find this one for a decent price, I would definitely say go with the original. The clone's okay, good enough. It does smell really good. It's pretty accurate, I gotta say, but I get an undeniable quality and blend difference here. It's good. God, this is good. I haven't worn it in a while. This is good. This is really good. I would highly recommend it if you like incense or you like fruity masculine fragrances, because it does have a masculine tone for being fruit heavy. Performance is great on this one. 8+ hours in longevity in my experience. Great for the fall. I need to remember and take a mental note to get this in my rotation this fall. It's Dolce & Gabbana, the One Luminous Night. If I had to pick one women's fragrance that is probably the most popular women's fragrance choice for men, just historically that I've seen in the online fragrance community, it would be light blue for women. Because honestly, it smells like Versace Mano Fraiche with some florals. That's exactly how it smells to me. That's how it's always smelled to me. Why is the cap on so tight? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It has this light, fresh floral tone with that clean, crisp, citrus, musky smell, oceanic feel of Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue and Versace Mano Fresh kind of blended. It doesn't have all that peppery tone of the men's version. It doesn't have the smoky nuance. It's not salty, but still has this fresh, watery, aquatic feel. Again, citruses, fresh florals, clean musk. It's good. It's good. What can I say? I totally get it. I took a shot on it one day, fell in love with it. I haven't worn it in a little while myself. I can say that for so many fragrances. So I just have so many and always getting more. But if you're a guy that's into fresh florals and you want to blend that with the Versace Mano Fresh profile, because don't let the notes dictate what you think it's going to smell like. To me, it smells like Versace Mano Fresh with florals. You're going to want to check out Light Blue for women. Now, number 8 seems to be the most popular of the K fragrances. It is K Eau de Parfum. Notice it's the one I have the biggest bottle of. Does have a little bit of that Tresemme hairspray thing going on. Shout out to Fernando for ruining that for me when this first came out. Saying that, because once you hear that, which I'm doing to some of you now, I apologize. Once you hear that, you can't, and then you smell it, it doesn't go away. The opening does give me a little bit of a hairspray thing going with that scratchy, sharp synthetic smell, but it smooths out pretty quickly. This is a much richer juniper geranium type of smell, nice and musky, a little bit of spice going on. 8+ hours in longevity. It's a really good performer. It really is the best of the bunch. It really is the best of the bunch. It lacks some of the powderiness of the EDT, and obviously it smells very different from the Intense. But this is actually a really good original release from them. It doesn't remind me of too many other things. And yeah, come fall time, I usually get this one in the rotation at least a time or two every year. It's Dolce & Gabbana K Eau de Parfum. Now at number 7, we just talked about the women's light blue. Now we got the women's light blue Intense that, dare I say, there's an argument for it being better than the men's. I've seen people mention that it's better than the men's. I disagree because I have the men's ranked higher, but not by much. You know, this is good. It does smell like the original, but intensified. This one has more of a salty marine smell to it, to go with the fresh florals, the citruses, the musk, all that good stuff. And it's a really good performer. This one's an 8+ hour fragrance. Again, guys, don't let it be in pour femme and market it as such. Scare you away. Try this fragrance. Go to Macy's, go to Dillard's, go somewhere. Go to a department store that carries Dolce & Gabbana fragrances. Go to the women's. They're going to have testers. This is a very popular fragrance. The light blue line as a whole, men's and women's, are very popular. And go try it on skin. Just take a shot. I blind bought it because I really like the EDT, and man, this is superior, far superior. If you're gonna get one, it's this one. Dolce and Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense for women. In at number 6 is a forgotten flanker that I think is one of the better summer flankers they've ever put out as a whole, which means it's a light blue flanker 99% of the time when you're talking Dolce & Gabbana. It smells like the original plus a sunscreen coconut note. Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Sun. I haven't worn it in a while myself. If I didn't already spray something on, I'd spray this because I do like this. I do like this. So take the original's DNA. Citrus, grapefruit, a little salty, smoky, peppery, musky, all of those things. Now add a coconut note that gives you some sunscreen. It's a sunscreen type coconut note. It's a synthetic coconut, but it works so well in this DNA. Light Blue Sun, the forgotten summertime stud in this line. I'm telling you, this is really good. Any of you that like a mild sunscreen coconut note in your fragrances, you're probably going to like and you like light blue, you like the original's DNA, that's a no-brainer for you to try this one. Maybe you've overlooked it because you never hear anybody talk about it. Maybe you never see it marketed anywhere and you never see a scent of the day. It's kind of forgotten. But it's damn good in my opinion. It's Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Sun. In at number 5, the reason I don't have the Eau de Parfum is I just kind of don't feel like I need it. Because I've always liked the way the EDT smells more, and there's not a big enough trade-off in performance to me. Dolce & Gabbana the One, Eau de Toilette. Yep, the EDT. I don't want to hear nothing about week. I get 4 to 5 hours. That's plenty. What kind of dates are you going on? I'm 39. My dates don't last 10 hours. We ain't starting the night at 10 and going till 3 in the morning. Those days are long behind me. I don't need some clubbing fragrance or anything like that. I need a nice dinner date, movie date, that kind of stuff, that kind of fragrance. A few hours. The scent profile with the longevity, the 4 to 5 hours, about an hour of really good projection, that's all I need. This is kind of an ideal date night fragrance. Wife loves this one. Sweet amber, light yet rich tobacco. And when I say light, it's not like a overwhelming tobacco note. It's not like some super earthy tone. It's just right. Doesn't have loads of spice. Very sensual, seductive, modern classic. Absolute classic for date night. Everything I said about the One Gray. If you're a fan of this, and so much to the point that you would love to have something more daytime appropriate, more office appropriate, warmer weather appropriate, that's where the One Gray comes in too. But this is iconic. There's an argument as far as date night men's fragrances for this being on a Mount Rushmore. It's that good to me. It's Dolce & Gabbana the One EDT. Coming in at number 4, it's not for everybody, but it's impressive to me for being a designer level oud rose. Quality here is actually really good. Dolce & Gabbana the One Mysterious Night. This is kind of winter, semi-formal only for me, so seldom do I wear it. But man, do I have mad respect for this one. The way the rose comes across is thick and jammy, and the oud is a warm, dry wood smell, and it comes across nice and powdery. Sensual, warm wood, powdery floral. Whew. Nice hit of spice that's strong, too. Man, this is... And look, I got loads of niche oud rose combos. This is up there. If I was ranking oud roses in my collection, this is definitely in the top 10. God, this is so good. And not going to be for everyone. Thick rose, Bulgarian rose. And it transitions very powdery. Starts off a little powdery, gets much more powdery as the woods creep in. Again, semi-formal. This is dress the occasion. Not a casual fragrance. Not at all. I would not. Like how I'm dressed now, I would not, under any circumstance, wear this fragrance dressed like this. I feel like it's disrespectful to this and to the perfumer with what they were trying to create, because it's elegance. It's pure elegance. It's a very unique profile. I think it's a special fragrance. I still can't believe it's a Dolce & Gabbana the One flanker. It's impressive to me. It's Dolce & Gabbana the One Mysterious Night. At number 3, one of the most recommended fragrances on this channel, because the price, performance, scent, just overall value is almost unparalleled when it comes to aquatics. Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Eau Intense for men. This is not good up close. I mean, it's okay in the atomizer, but as far as spraying on skin, it's too rich and synthetic. It is, and crazy salty. But if you just smell it out in the air, even as the wearer, let alone as somebody else smelling it on somebody passing by, magic. Compliment machine, highly charismatic fragrance. Saltwater aquatic, very salty, marine, heavy, clean, and musky. Still has that, it smells like the original, just heavily intensified. It is an appropriately named flanker. I still think the original smells better, but this performs way better. This will grab people. This can be too much. You will go nose blind to this one because it's highly synthetic. Just know that 3 or 4 sprays of this one is actually way more than you think. And you're like, bro, it's so weak. Insert comment here. Bro, it's so weak. It's like 45 minutes to an hour and I can't smell it. I asked my girl and she can't smell it either. And, you know, I wasn't around her the whole time. I know you're going to say if she was around, she'd go nose blind. You'd be surprised, man. It don't take but a moment to go nose blind to something like this because this stuff is potent. This stuff trails hard. Long and strong right here. Long and strong. That's what she said. This is good stuff. Dolce and Gabbana Light Blue, Intense for men. In my opinion, the best smelling light blue flanker. That's why it's ranked above the Intense. I love the way this smells. Light blue Italian love. I'm wearing it today. I need to wear this. I have not worn this yet this summer. It's going in rotation. I'm putting it on the desk in rotation, in line for rotation. When I get back from the gym after I shower, I'm spraying this on as my scent of the day. So good. So good. Remember, I said it smells like a more complex version of this. They released back-to-back years. This came first. This came out the next year. It smells like it's this they built upon because there's more intense. It's not just all about the rindy grapefruit. I feel like there's more bergamot in this one as well. You get more of a citrus blend than a distinctive grapefruit. I get plenty of an aquatic note, like it's way more aquatic. It's not just a citrus heavy fragrance like that one's like way loads of citrus from start to finish. And it's great. But this has some development to it, and this patchouli gives this nice earthy feel to an already fresh and bright fragrance. This is so impressive. And this one's 6 to 8 hours in longevity. Really good performance out of this as well. I heard Fragrance Net maybe had it for 76. I don't know if Fragrance Buys currently got them in stock. They did. They had them in stock for around the same price. I didn't check. But they've been popping up again. This was from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever. And to me, it's ranked 2 for a reason. It's my favorite light blue flanker. It's not my most recommended because the bang for your buck's in the Intense. But man, the scent on this one, so good. Light blue Italian love at number 2. At number 1, a lot of you already knew it. It'll never not be number 1 no matter what they come out with for as long as I live. It'll always be number 1 because it's a nostalgia fragrance for me, because this was pivotal. This is on my Mount Rushmore of overall all-time fragrances. This is one of the 4 most important fragrances to me in my life ever. It is Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. This is my 3rd or 4th bottle. This little 40 ml I got for a crazy price when I lived in Texas. God knows how long before I put it, go through the bottle, but I'll rebuy it. I always do when I run out. One of the greatest smelling fragrances of all time. One of the most consensus. Look at the consensus. Take a poll from guys from age 30 to 50 and ask them what's their most complimented fragrances ever. Top 2 or 3. This is going to be in pretty much all of them's list. Women love the way this smells. That's why it's still so highly sold. Yeah, it's only like 4 or 5 hours of longevity these days. I'm sure it's been reformulated a few times over the years. It came out in 2005. I remember when it came out. I was hyped when this came out. My uncle got it before me. I've told this story many times. My uncle got it before me, and I was like, wow, that is impressive. The reason this is so pivotal for me, because I had a little over a handful of fragrances at this point, maybe even around 10 at this point. And being excited when this came out the way I was is what made it was the light bulb went off, and I was like, holy shit. I'm really into fragrances. Cologne. Didn't even call them fragrances. I'm really into cologne. I didn't realize it until that moment, because I'd always had at least 2 or 3 fragrances. I had, Polo Green I would wear to school dances. Nautica or Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger was my daily wear stuff. Nautica competition. You see what I'm saying? Like I was always into the mid-level designer stuff for years and years and years. And then when this came around, this was so impressive to me at the time. I fell in love with it. I had to have it. I got a gift set that Christmas. And it's just been so special to me ever since. I got friends that still wear it to this day. Shout out to my buddy Keith, childhood, long lifetime friend of mine. He still wears Aqua de Joe and Light Blue. That's his two fragrances. You know why? Because every woman he's ever been around ever has told him how good he smells, including his long-term wife. Shout out to Sarah, Keith and Sarah. You know, got to give the credit. Keith's still rocking them to this day. This is so good. Don't ever, please, for me, if you respect and value my opinion at all, don't ever not give a fragrance a chance because an internet forum or somebody such as myself on video is telling you weak performer, oh, it's dated. Fuck all that noise. Sorry for the F-bomb. I normally don't drop the F-bombs in recorded videos. Be your own judge. If anything ever interests you when it comes to fragrance in any way, don't let anyone, including me, talk you out of it. Find a way to try it. Even if it's an obscure indie fragrance where there's not samples easily available, or a Lattafa that doesn't have samples, whatever. Find a way to try it for yourself and be your own judge, because you never know what fragrance is going to matter most to you. And for me, one that matters the absolute most to me, top 4 all time, Mount Rushmore fragrance to me. Number 1, Dolce and Gabbana Light Blue. Well, that was my ranking. I appreciate all of you that made it the whole way through. It was a longer video. Had a nice little tangent right there at the end, but thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll try to have links as best I can for everything down below. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Y'all have a good one.